Ogden family. I was asked if I would share a story about a time when I heard God's voice and responded. So as I prayed about it, this one came to mind. I was in India about 3 or 4 months ago, and we were traveling through villages who had never heard of Jesus before. And we got this opportunity to pray over a man who was deaf. And so all the guys in our group laid hands on him to pray over him, because in Indian culture it's very inappropriate for men and women to touch at all in public. So as we were praying over him, God started speaking to me, and he said, "Karis, I want you to spit on your fingers and stick them in his ears and cast out the spirit of deafness." And I was shocked, and I hesitated, and I didn't do it right away. And I kept saying, I was like, this is so culturally inappropriate, and I just didn't do it. And so we finished praying over him, and he wasn't healed. And we moved on to the next house and was evangelizing to some teenagers. And I was so convicted. And God told me that I had to go back and do it and just obey him and do it. And so I grabbed the translator and I grabbed one of my friends, and we went back, and I spat on my fingers and I stuck them in his ears and I cast out the spirit of deafness, and nothing happened. And one of my friends felt like God was going to heal him later on that day, and so we kept praying for him. And so then a few weeks later, I got back to Australia, and I was sharing that story with a different friend, and I said that we expected God had healed him afterwards. And she said, yeah, that could have happened, but Karis, I actually think that God was testing your obedience in that time. From that point on, for about the next week, God really convicted me of passive aggression and hesitation in obedience to him. And so we worked through that, and I repented, and I turned away from it. And so then, of course, God tests that. He tests the genuineness. So then I was on a train a little while after that on the way to the beach, and God started speaking to me about the people that were on the train as well and the struggles they were going through. And he was saying that one person was struggling with shame, and that they didn't know that he took away shame and that he loved them unconditionally. And I was just quite depressed at that point, and I was like, wow, they don't know. And God's like, and you should tell them, Karis, you have to jump up and you have to tell them that I love them no matter what they've done, and that I take away their shame if they come to me. And so then, again, I was taken aback, and I almost hesitated, and I did wait a little bit, but I remembered that I told Jesus I never would be passive-aggressive in doing what he told me to do. And so I jumped up in front of the train, and I said, "Hi, my name is Karis," and I just started sharing everything that God had told me about, and that he loved them unconditionally, and that if they came to him, that he would take them away and love them, and that he loved them anyways, and that they could receive that love. So then I sat down, and nobody moved, and I was shaking, and I was like, God, I did this for you. I didn't do this for a response. And I was like, okay, I don't think anybody's going to come. And right as soon as I thought that, somebody came up and sat down next to me, and she said, wow, that was amazing. Your boldness and courage was so inspiring. She said, I too am a Christian, and I'm so deeply moved by what you did. And she said, and actually the reason I came over here is because I truly believe that what God gave you to say is for my friend that's sitting over there, that she's struggling with those very same things. And the fact that you got up and obeyed him, I believe there was breakthrough in her life. And so she prayed for me, and I prayed for her, and it was beautiful. And so I don't know what happened with that lady's life, but I just obeyed. And so, moral of the story is, I want to encourage you that whenever God tells you to do something, no matter how outrageous or culturally inappropriate it may be, do it. It's going to be a beautiful end result, whether you get to see it or not. And just know that it's all for God anyway. I love you guys.